And it's popped me out of one of them. All right. Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us. We are doing connections here today, and I am super pumped and excited about our guest today because I as explored this opportunity to share with others wonderfully talented, brilliant, and successful businesses in the community. There's lots to choose from, and I was excited with my friends. I'm kind of getting the crop here. So, Don, I'm so happy for you to join me. My name is Renee Hahn. I'm a real estate expert working in Naples and greater area, and I thought this was a great opportunity to connect businesses and people. And what better time to do that because we have these audiences that are captivated on social media today. So we're streaming across YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. And so without further ado, John is with Innovative Design Solutions. And what I wanted to do, John, is kick us off with a little bit of a background about yourself and then talk a little bit about your business.
Well, Naples, born and raised, so I've got to see a lot of progress in Naples, Florida, and be a part of a lot of it too. A little bit of background about myself is I grew up in home defects and concrete restoration and waterproofing. So a lot of the issues that take place on buildings and structures, I was a big part of renovating those. So that got me into the renovation as far as construction is concerned. And I just love the transformation of things and seeing old to new. So that's what really got me into the bathrooms and kitchens and the full renovations, is taking something that's 20, 30 years old and just bringing it back to life, and then watching the clients smile as their dreams kind of come to fruition in front of them. So. Oh, I can't hear you. You're muted.
Sorry. I met you through some of your work on luxury properties, and actually wrongfully so sort of assumed that was the only playground that you were in because you do it very well. But I've come to since appreciate that you really are a wing-to-wing provider of renovation and new build and other projects. So talk to me a little bit in the audience today about, with Innovative Design Solutions, where's sort of the start and the finish of that, and what spaces do you work in?
Well, right now we're finishing up a $1.3 million project. I just finished a kitchen in Kings Lake that was $33,000. I have relationships like yourself. You might call me and say, John, I'm trying to get this listing on the listing signed up, and this stinking drywall is going to hinder me from making this move. Can you help me out? And a lot of times those drywall patches I pull out of my pocket to do them, but I understand I'm helping you out ultimately, and we're building relationships. So we do a little bit of everything. So what separates us from most contractors, not all, but most, is most contractors receive all the bids. They can do the job for $1.2 million, let's call it, but then they add on their contractor fee of 20%, and they're behind the desk 90% of the time, where we have those trades in-house. And I wouldn't say that I make more money that way, but what that enables Innovative Design to do is, when a customer is in need, I'm able to jump to those needs a lot faster, having the drywallers, having the carpenters, having the tile people on my staff. And for a lack of better words, it enables me from having less butt chewing. So when I tell someone I'm going to be there Wednesday, I can be there Wednesday because it's my men that I'm scheduling. And that really helps.
Yeah, that's a big differentiator. We even talk about that in real estate, John, because sometimes you may think you're hiring realtor A, and then all of a sudden Susie's gone and Bob shows up for the meeting and you're like, well, wait a minute, what happened? You know, same thing. You've got, I call that, you know what neck to choke, right?
Yeah, correct. 100%.
So anyways, not to be so visual because we are a happy, friendly place. We don't want to choke any neck. What I'd love for you to share with the audience is, you know, give me your why. What inspired you to start this business?
Well, transformation, a little background too, is I have a ministry, you know, and we try to help people and, you know, and transform lives. And I love watching people from rock bottom hit their rock bottom. And then, you know, now they're married with kids and successful. And that's one of the things that I love the most about my business as well, is the transformation of, wow, this bathroom, I didn't know we could have this much room. And I can't believe you fit this there. And I can't believe that, you know, you're able to take this something from 1980s and give me and bring it back into the 21st century. And just that transformation and that reward at the end of the job of the client. I'm ultimately a people pleaser. It's a gift and a curse. But nothing makes me happier than having that reward at the end of the job when the client's like, wow, the transformation is amazing. So I mean, I grew up in home defects doing exterior painting and waterproofing and fixing balconies, but we always took it apart and put it back together the same way. So there wasn't that wow feeling, that transformation feeling. But, you know, when you're doing bathrooms and kitchens and renovations, you know, there's a sense of accomplishment, and people appreciate you more because, you know, yeah, you might have stopped the leak, but the window still looks the same. But when you transform their bathroom or their kitchen or their house, it just wows them a little bit.
Yeah, there's fixing it, and then there's transforming it. You're right. And I love the parallel in your passion between, you know, transforming and I'm aware of the work you do in the community, helping people transform their lives, and then helping people transform their homes. Is a great compliment. So, on a good day, then, John, that is the backdrop in innovative design solutions with you. What at the end of a project, what makes it go well?
What makes it go well is being real with the client, and you know, that I call it the red zone, right? That last 10 yards. And you know this in your business, where it's like, hey, we got the contract signed, we're moving forward, and it's that last 10 when you get that inspection report, and it's this and it's that, and there's emotions flying. And we have the same thing in our business, where it's that last 10 yards, it's that little bit of paint, it's that little bit of drywall, it's the scratch on the cabinet, and it's all that. And just, you know, it's almost a peak of emotions, that bottlenecks, and everybody's on edge. I'm trying to get out of there and get paid. They want to get in their home. So it's just educating the client and having that relationship. You're more than a number to me. You're actually became my friend. I've prayed with my clients. I've helped their families. I've sat down with dinner, and it's just nice when that emotion comes to an end. We're real with each other. I set expectations. And when it's all said and done, I don't want to give them the keys. I want that for my house. I feel like it's part of me now. So I mean, that's probably the toughest part for us, but the most rewarding is that red zone, I call it, getting to that touchdown, because that last 10 yards is really a bear.
Yeah, you know, one of the things I'll call out, you know, because I have occasion to work with vendors across all different, not just construction, but, you know, everything from lending to insurance, you name it. And one of the things that always stands out to me, because I have yet to find anyone, present company included, who does everything perfect every day and is just on and doesn't make mistakes. It happens. I've worked for builders. The construction process you'll encounter challenges, right?
Yes.
And I think what's so important is vendors that acknowledge it, own it, and make it right, right? Yeah. So that's one of the things I just want to call out, John, that I know is a pillar in your business, because I've watched it in action.
Yeah. No, I was talking to a client today. Her pullouts weren't ordered, and she goes, "Why?" And I says, "Ma'am, I dropped the ball. Miscommunication inside of my firm. They'll be here this date." And she actually said to me, "Wow, I can't believe you just came out and said that." You didn't tell me it was this person's fault or it's the truck or it's the Corona. You just told me it's your fault. And I said, well, it is. But I can also tell you I'm going to fix it. And the second I got her in my hand, and she was in all of that. She talked about that for about 3 to 5 minutes, and that she couldn't believe that I blamed myself. But you know what? My core values is real. That's my core value. Responsive, excellence, attitude, and liability. So, you know, excellence in all we do, no matter how, no matter the mistake, we're going to operate in excellence no matter what. I don't care what it costs me. The attitude is keeping the great attitude. And then the last one is liability. No finger pointing. I don't like a finger pointer. You know, we're going to own it. If it was my employee, it's not my employee. It was me. If it was my vendor, it's not my vendor. It was me. I'm going to receive the liability. I'm going to fix this. And that's what we live by is those core values. So I do my best to live by that.
Thank you. I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit with this one. So my apologies. I told you I might do this and I didn't plan this, but you know, I always, when people are going into renovation projects, we all sort of learn if we've been there, done that. You almost have to have a buffer, right? Whether people tell you 10%. With your firm's involvement in construction through renovation and new build, what do you find is that margin of error, both in terms of what should people count on from a pricing perspective, what should they build in, and a timing perspective, unless you get them all done on time? What's sort of the expectation you set when it comes to renovation?
You know, most condo renovations, and praise God, I've never missed a condo renovation, which is a November 1st deadline. But due to that, I've had to sternly tell a client no. And say, no, we can't change that this late in the game unless you don't want to be in your house for the season. Other things is I would say most change orders consist of fixtures and finishes, and a lot of clients kind of go in with this thing of, okay, I'm okay with this, I want to stay on the budget, but then as they start going through Pinterest and things like that, they go from a $3.50 tile
right?
yeah. Now those are hard conversations for me. I hate them. But there are conversations like double tile, for an example. I got to meet with a board actually first thing next week, where there was double layer of tiles, and it's kind of like I did not know there was 2 layers of tile. It's a change order, but it's kind of one of those things where I don't have X-ray vision. But again, I hate those conversations. They really stink. But normally, and I can honestly say this, and I can say this 9 times out of 10, that the extent of upping the budget is usually in their finishes. You know, or they add to the cabinetry, they add glass, they add lights. You know, and that thing it spins. You know. When I'm doing a takeoff in my spreadsheet, I'm doing a garage for Rick Johnson right now. And I'm like, wow, how did we end up here? So I went line item to line item, and there was nothing over $30,000. Most were $2,000 and $5,000, but it ended up over $100,000. So a lot of people don't understand that those $500 and those $1,000 ultimately add up really quick to thousands of dollars. And if you're not careful and you don't pay attention, that's exactly what happens.
Got it. So it sounds like you don't so much experience the overage simply because you thought putting up a wall was going to cost X and it cost you Y. It's that I went from wanting a wall to now could we add French doors in it? And guess what? Those French doors cost money. Okay.
And this is how I feel. I want to elaborate on that. So if I say building this wall costs $4,200 and I get in there and it costs me $6,000, that's the cost of doing business. Honestly, I'm eating that additional $2,000 because as a professional, I should have known I should have did my due diligence on the material and things like that. Unless I give them a cost plus basis and say, this is my hourly rate, this is my material at cost plus whatever the percentage is. But if I say $4,200 and ended up costing me $6,000, that's on me. And I truly believe that's the cost of doing business. And I stand by that. You know, hey, you win some, you lose some. That's part of life.
Yeah. No, that's a good thing. That's kind of like when you get up to the counter and your item was priced at something and the register says something else. You know what? You had an advertised price, right?
Amen. That's it.
Walmart better give me that 50 cents off.
Yes.
Well, John, I'm looking at your whiteboard behind you, and it looks like you guys stay pretty busy. I wanted to ask you, businesses are affected in different ways during this COVID challenge. Are you guys, from the ability to take on and finish work, are you guys business as usual? Are you still able, if somebody's interested in reaching out for discussions on what innovative design solutions might be able to do, are you guys all on? What's your situation?
I guess real is my core value, right? So I guess I'll be real. We're still signing up projects every week. We were at 40 something employees. Right now we're down to about 18. And I'm just very careful on taking it all on at once like I was before, if that makes sense. It was kind of like, let's take it on and figure it out, where now I'm kind of more reserved. We are still signing up projects. I do have the ability to take on more projects. But I'm not gonna bite off more than I can chew due to this situation right now. I've got the ability, the men that I have right now is what I call my core team, and that's where we're going to stay for a little while. And I'm just using this time to restructure my jobs and restructure who we are as a company, implementing systems that we've been talking about for months and months and months, and utilizing this time now to actually implement those systems. We were growing at such a rapid pace. We were almost doubling in revenue every year. So we were getting so much done that it was just whatever was the fastest way to get it out. And then we'll figure it out on the back end, where now I just want to take this time, utilize this time to get my stuff in gear and implement all those great ideas we all have. Oh, we should do it this way, we should do it that way, but you're too busy to try it. So that's what I'm using this time for now, is like, hey, all these wonderful ideas we had, let's implement them. So
yeah, no, you're right. This is, there's obviously some devastation that's come from COVID, especially where it's impacted people's health and a lot of people's jobs. But certainly there's also been the opportunity to be reflective and try to optimize our processes so that when we come back to work to the same level that we were, we're doing even better for our customers than before. So that's reassuring to hear you guys are taking that time. To that note, I wanted to ask you, because you work across such a wide array, and not to defer any projects that might be outside of the scope, but what are some of your favorite things you've worked on that you're most proud of, that you enjoyed and really admired the product?
Well, we're doing one now that's in Stonegate that I'm hoping to have wrapped up by the end of next week, and I'm just in all of that. We teamed up with the Kane girls and Molly Hoover Design. So I call it the eighth wonder of the world. I mean, there's just so many cool things in there. But one thing that I do love to work on is condo renovations, because there's so many challenges. And I've got contractors that laugh at me. They're like, what do you mean? Like, it's easy to just build it, be done with it. Here's my plan. But I really like figuring things out and creating more space, and how are we going to get the plumbing here. And so there was a job that we did at the Renaissance on Gulf Shore Boulevard, and it's over the water. They're on pillars, and we actually bought a pontoon boat that I still have and made a makeshift barge out of it, and went and core drilled, and they had post tension cables, so we had to get an engineer involved and to x-ray the floor. And that was one of my favorite projects too. And just all of them have their own little special spots where you look at a kitchen and you go, they told me I couldn't do that. They said that I was not going to be able to open that kitchen up, and here we are, we did. And so I would say condos are one of my favorite, and I think we shine there a little more. My partner Larry West has done condo repairs for the last 40 years. So I understand these buildings because as a kid, I hung off them on swing stages and repaired them. So I have a better understanding of how they're engineered and why the pillars are there and why the stacks are there. So that allows me to manipulate them and also talk to the inspectors and know what I'm talking about when I talk to them. So they entertain me and go, okay, you know what, you're on to something, where they don't just go, we're not listening. So that I really enjoy the condo renovations. I really do.
Now that's great. And you inspired me, because your commitment to your customers, that you went out and bought a boat to bring things in, sort of inspires me. My husband's sitting off in the back and I'm thinking, honey, I sell waterfront property. I think I need to go get a bigger boat.
Yes.
I think you gave me a good argument, right, John?
There you go.
Your work tool.
You got it, girl.
I think I got an uphill battle on that one. But well, John, what I wanted to do, we've got about 8 minutes left. I want to save just a moment at the end to talk about some of the lineup I have coming. But I really wanted to open up and just say, we've got the opportunity to share things with an audience. And so I just wanted to give you an open-ended, what would you, with this airtime, what would you like to convey and share with others?
Well, this is the time to reflect. I mean, it's, you inspire me. Before we went on, like, wow, I called you a marketing genius. And you said, well, I've got this time. And I think that's what separates the tares from the wheat, is, okay, look, we've got these times, people are getting laid off and people are not being able to work. And you're stressing about your bills. And I just encourage us as a community to think outside the box. What can we do? What are you willing to do? Don't beat yourself up. Don't get down. Just get out there and diversify, and don't be too good for something. If a $12 an hour job opens up, an old man once told me that I worked for 6 years, Leonard Chesser. He's a swamp buggy king. He pretty much invented the swamp buggy races. He told me a long time ago, he said, John, a half a plate is better than no plate. And what he meant by that was, be grateful for what you got. And you know what, if you're making a full plate now, capitalize on that. But ultimately, a half a plate's still better than no plate. So, that's what I like to encourage the people out there, is like, get up there and get out and do something. Don't let this beat you up and keep you down, and, do whatever it takes for your family. Because I think when we sit and we get in our heads, we don't cast down the imaginations, we can really get into depression and things like that. So diversify and just get out there and do your best to support your local community and do whatever it takes to provide for your families.
Yeah, nope. Wise advice. My husband's more of a worrier, and I tell him all the time, sweetie, can you control it? As long as you're moving, put one foot in the other. Yes, your playground may change a little, right? We may have constrictions on us to work differently. Business may have pulled back, but there's always something you can do. And so take that passion and energy, and instead of pushing it and using it to worry, use it in a more powerful way to come out stronger at the other end. So I couldn't agree with you more. Well, John, let me ask this. We've obviously got the tickler going across the bottom, so you can see their website is naplesconstruction.net. But what's the best way to get in touch with you if someone wants to have a discussion, and actually a question in there when you give that? What is the commitment? If somebody says, what, I like this John guy. He seems like a forthright person. He seems like an honest businessman. And I bet if I look at some of his work, he does a kick butt job. What's the commitment to engage you? How should that work?
Well, they could always reach me on Facebook or even my website. And again, our first core value is responsiveness, responding to the needs of our clients and our employees. So we're big on responding. So they could call the office at 239-204-4175. They can reach me on Facebook. I actually do all my own marketing, so I'm going to be the one responding to you. And then my office staff the same way. They can go on our website. We offer financing on our website. So if they don't think they can afford a kitchen, but they need one, they can fill out all the forms right there on our website, and they can fill out a form asking for us to call them. So there's multiple ways to get a hold of me, and all of them we will respond immediately. And I say this: if we don't, message me on Facebook, and I'll fix that. So.
And really, there's that upfront consultation there's no
Free.
Obligation. There's
None.
exactly. And that's what I wanted to convey. There is a point at which when you start getting into CAD drawings and other things that, there's cost to that, but to discuss a potential project and the parameters of that, I've found, I believe your business is on point to do that. And then if there's a mutual interest in pursuing business, then you can start talking money.
That's 100% correct. Yes, ma'am.
Good, good. Well, John, I really appreciate you, not just for joining me today, but I appreciate you. So thank you. I hope that you'll join us for some of the other segments later this week. This week, tomorrow, I have Rejuvenations coming on. On Friday, I have True Fashionistas, which has a fashion side and a home goods side. I'm excited. Next week, on Monday, I have Monta Films, and their story is just amazing. I can't wait to explore it more. I've got image projections next Tuesday, Massage Heights on Wednesday, and Thursday, Hattinger Floors. So we have a really good lineup of local businesses, and I'm just, if you can't tell, I'm just excited about it. If you're a local business and you would like to be showcased, will I do these forever? I don't know, but I'm doing them now. Yeah. So if you'd like a showcase, there's no cost. It's just the cost of time. So 30 minutes of your time. And John, I'm honored to have gotten to come on here today and let people hear about you and about innovative design solutions. So if somebody's looking for a project, I was also glad you mentioned that there is financing available, because sometimes people think they've got to save before they can spend. And that's usually a good strategy. Yes. But there are opportunities to get your, your projects funded, especially sometimes it makes financial sense because they may be improving the value of their home, which builds equity in their home when they go to sell it. So yes, it's an investment of price, but done with good professionals like yourself, it can bring huge value to the resale.
Yes, ma'am. I love it.
Good.
Can I hire you as a saleswoman?
It's funny you say that because my husband's smiling over there. I hate sales. Is that allowed to say that when we're in real estate? Yeah. I believe in being a relationship manager that might do a little negotiation, a little marketing, but thank you for the compliment. Yes. I hate sales. Yeah. And I respect those like my husband that are good at it. So, well, thank you, John, for joining us. If anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out to John directly. If you want to direct them to me because you're not sure how to find him on the website that's so conveniently noted here, shoot him my way and I'll get it redirected at John. But everybody have a wonderful day on this hump day. I hope the back end of your week was as good as the front end. And if your front end was horrible, I hope the back end is better.
Love it.
Have a good day. Thanks so much.
Bye.